Yeah, there was no review for this last night. There's a review for today. Well, let's just get on with the review for today. Look, there was a lot of issues going behind the scenes of this movie, and we were hearing reports that it was just terrible. It was a mess. They had to reshoot the ending because apparently it was too similar to another movie. Look, I went in with open mind. I'll say this right at the front: it isn't terrible. Um, I think I'm falling into the camp of a lot of people that it's not a good movie. It's kind of a bad movie. Is it even the worst X-Men movie? Probably not. I'd say it's more competently made than, well, maybe not. It's not true. It's a first-time director, and even with like Ratner, or I don't even know the person who did. I can't remember the name of the person who did Origins Wolverine. Theirs had a coherent story. Well, Origin Wolverine had a coherent story throughout. Ratner's, though, I don't mind Last Stand, but Last Stand has issues. One is they were juggling way too much. There really is only one major story point, and it is the Dark Phoenix in this one. It's better than X-Men Origins Wolverine. The acting overall is better, I'd say, in it overall. The effects are better. The action sequences aren't bad, ultimately. I mean, right after that, let me just get out of the way what I think, what I thought actually worked. Like I said, most, if not all, the performances, save maybe two characters, were not bad. Were honestly pretty decent, if I were to say. Some of them was actually really good. I thought Magneto was used pretty well for what they had to use him for. Nicholas Hoult, who plays Beast, had a couple really good moments. Nightcrawler gets a couple good moments of acting. Xavier is good, but we'll get into when in the negatives my problems with Xavier. Storm is hardly used, but the little they use her for is great, is pretty solid. Scott's used pretty well. Jean's used honestly pretty well. The action sequences, the ones that aren't like really shaky, cammed out, particularly in the final act, are really the whole train sequence fight when it's not overly shaky. And it's really not that overly shaky because it's like close quarters combat in close quarters. It's actually pretty good. We get to see the X-Men pull out. Like, there's a great scene with Magneto whipping the absolute shit out of some guys. And then when they're like, oh, we're ready to fight again, she takes a train car and just crushes them and just, man, that was the thing. Just nonchalantly throws it over. Just like, okay, that's pretty badass. Nightcrawler gets probably what was one of the best scenes in the movie. Not even scenes, moments in the movie where a guy who like had a family dies in his arms, and he just goes John Wick on some fools, just stabbing puppets. It was great for the 20 seconds it was going on. I'll also say this: there is some dramatic moments that are really well done. They do some drama pretty well in this movie. There is a great scene with there's a great scene with what scene was it? I'm trying to remember exactly which one it was. Particularly with Charles and Hank. That you see in the trailer briefly, where he says, "This is your fault, Charles," after they bury Mystique. By the way, I'm spoiling things, but that was pretty much openly shown in the trailer. She was gonna die. So when it happened, I'm like, okay, that finally happened. My girlfriend though was shocked. It's like, really? You didn't see that? Okay. And I'll say this too: they got to the main plot pretty quickly. I'll also give them the credit. This is closer to the actual origin of the Phoenix Force, the Phoenix Saga, than Ratner's was. Last Stand was. That's not saying a lot, but and honestly, the Phoenix Saga or Phoenix Force Saga, or the the X-Men Dark Phoenix Saga should be a multiple series of movies. I will also end off with my positive saying that the ending. Actually, when you really look at the ending of this movie, and let me double check to make sure there was not if there was a post-credit scene, I'll laugh my ass off because X-Men Fox got bought out by Disney. So even if there was a post-credit scene, Like, oh, Jean's gonna come back because she sacrifices herself at the end of the movie. Jean's gonna come back or something like that. And there is a little hint of that. She's gonna come back, or we're teasing in our film. It's pointless because these characters are just gonna be rebooted anyway in a couple years. So this is the last film of the X-Men series. But that last shot of Xavier and Charles just sitting there and playing a game of chess. So because that's always been a through point throughout them just having a nice game of chess as friends. It's actually a very simplistic, nice way of doing it. Yeah. So I actually liked that quite a bit. So the Bari, that's the name of this art. Famous people who stars was destroyed by Phoenix Force and Dark Saga. Okay, so these are actual beings in this movie. All right, now I'm all right, now I'm getting this. Okay. So the Badari, who are the aliens, Jessica Chastain's race of people, are in fact a real race of aliens in the Marvel universe. They are in fact a real. These were not just created for the movie. Okay, that is a little bit better than just these. Okay, all right. So to start off, science. You hear of it? I ever heard of it? Because I don't think you can really create weather in the vacuum of space. To save a spinning shuttle where they go encounter the Phoenix Force, Storm freezes off the air vents with her abilities. Granted, she can only do it for a little bit, but still, I don't believe that's how mosquito. Got that. I don't believe that's how science works. But then Nightcrawler straps on a space helmet and goes and puffs in and out, and is even able to go in the vacuum of space to some. Actually, no. Okay, he was never in the vacuum of space. Okay, I can let that slide to an extent. He was actually never in the vacuum, as far as I know. But you want to know why I can let that slide? Because how the hell are they breathing in the Blackbird in space? The damn thing was not retrofitted to go into space. Hank even said so. It was designed for acceleration, or what did he say? Not escalation. Acceleration, not escalation. Which means it was never designed to go into space, as far as we know. And if it was, they never mentioned that. So I'm just watching this like, how the hell are you breathing? It's like, right there, that's a freaking problem right there. Duh. So, but before that even, we have this film kind of set the tone of what was going to be in the very beginning by showing us the standard flashback of Jean, how her parents died, how she accidentally caused the accident. And we just see her parents' bodies get ragdolled and her mom's lifeless corpse staring back at us in the mirror. And I'm like, okay, you opened it up pretty dark there. And then we see the alien race, the Dabari, which is what they're named apparently, come in and just freaking 86 an entire party of people and just take over their forms. Like, what the hell? They just basically slaughtered an entire race of people who I'm not even aware what they're capable of doing, because as much as I know comics, the Dabari are not a race of individuals I am familiar with. So apparently they are a humanoid plant species that lived on the fourth planet of the Dabari system, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so right now I'm thinking, okay, they're Skrull Groots, because they can transform but look like plants. And then it's like, and they also have psychic abilities, which lets them basically contort the human body and just torture them. Oh, and they also possess some sort of weird, imaging technology and advanced regeneration because they're plant people, which is never hinted on until the very end of the movie. And even then, normal round fire won't do anything, but the big gauges, like the 50 gauges, mows them down without a problem. So really, they're kind of pointless against our big weaponry. And apparently they can absorb the Phoenix Force, so all right, there's that. So that's a problem. Then you get into one of the biggest problems of this entire movie is twofold. One, they're just rehashing so much of X-Men: The Last Stand, which Simon Kinberg did also work on, I believe. And this is the first time directing a movie too, so and you can tell. Jean taken in by Xavier. The whole causing your parents' car crash. That was I don't believe in the movie at all, but still. Him repressing her memories. They show it in a slightly different route, but he still does that. The whole her sacrifice. Well, there's literally beat for beat moments in this movie that are just ripped straight out of The Last Stand, and that'd be one thing if the script was better. But oh my God, some of the dialogue these people have to talk about or have to read off. I give all the actors credit. They're doing the best they can with what they have. Michael Fassbender actually comes off pretty good. There's lines like Nick Holt as Beast has to at one point just scream "No!" as our "No!" That's how he would have done. But because Kinberg's a first-time director, he wanted him to say it more along the lines of "No!" Or something like just what? That was a weird way to put it. And then from a character standpoint, what happens after Raven dies, after Mystique dies, and she does trying to say "I love you," which we never really get that implication of the relationship that they actually apparently have now, as opposed to almost, except for one brief interaction with them in the X Mansion, we never get the implication that they're together. So that right there, you fail in setting that up at all. He immediately goes. First off, it does go after the funeral to the scene of Charles and Hank, which is a good scene where she calls him out like, "This is your fault, Charles, and you're too egotistical, too wrapped up in your ego to admit that you were wrong." And he's right. Charles Xavier in this movie, they really key up the arrogance of Charles Xavier in this. They really do that, and they do it well. But I'll tell you my double-edged opinion on that, why I like it and why I don't in just a little bit. But then it immediately goes to him going to Genosha, which they have. They never name it, but they name Genosha, where Eric's doing his thing there, and later on he has an interaction with Jean. And he tells her to leave because she pretty much killed people. And, then he comes in and is like, Raven died. I don't want to take it. I'm going to try to kill her. I know. He went from, okay, yeah, you're my friend, and I just lost a woman and everything like that too. I just lost a woman I love. You did kill her. Instead of me trying to understand why, I'm so stricken by grief that I want to kill a longtime friend of mine dead. No, I'm sorry, there's no justification for that, Beast. I'm sorry you're hurting. I am. But there's no justification for that. There isn't. It's like, seriously, dude, really? That was a leap. That was a leap. And then Jean throughout this movie, well, Sophie Turner's a good actress. I was never a big Game of Thrones fan, but she's a good actress. I've never 100% bought her as Jean. Now, I've never been completely not in love with her as Jean, but I've never loved her as Jean. I think she's okay as Jean. There's other actresses you could have chosen, and I think part of it's because even when her tone of voice, she's a little mellow, even when she's screaming or when she's being sinister, that works. But when she's trying to be overly emotional, I don't know. So she sounds a little nasally, to be honest. And Jean is kind of not a ditz. That's not the right word. She's really expecting people to be just okay with things. And people want to try to help her, but she won't let them. And then when she tries to get help from people and they reject her, she's surprised by this. Perfect example is in the scene in the trailer you see where she's ripping apart these armed forces helicopters, and Magneto's trying to stop her, and he barely stops her. I did like that scene too, where she's trying to mess with this helicopter, and Magneto, granted, ultimately was not powerful enough to stop her, But initially, because neither of them are really trying, he's able to hold her. He's able to keep up with her with just one hand, and then he just does two hands. Like, oh God, she's too powerful. But he immediately tells her, "No, you need to get out of here." But I thought you took in trouble. Like, no, yeah, I do. Not you though. No, you need to get out of here. And she's like surprised and hurt by like, Gene, you literally just tried to kill these fools, and you're surprised by this? You're surprised that people are reacting the way they are, and you seem to be relishing it at points. Like, you're not fully aware because the Phoenix Force is taking you over, it's clear. But you're still partially aware. So, like, what is your deal? I get they're trying to display, like, the gamut of emotions, like what she's dealing with, but ultimately it's just, no, it doesn't work. I mean, there's scenes that were it's kind of cool where she's like, there's a line, it's literally just torn right out of X3, I just remembered, where he sensed what she was going through, like through Cerebro, because he couldn't penetrate her mind anymore, Charles. And he says she's all desire and anger and rage and sorrow. She's all these primal emotions, which is pretty much kind of ripped right out of X3. And we see a scene with her and, Scott at a party where that rears up and she causes an accident. It was cool to see Dazzler. I will say that. It was cool to see Dazzler there. But, yeah, it's like they don't really quite know what to do with her at points in this movie. One of the biggest problems is it's the Phoenix. It's a cosmic planet-eating entity. And you're containing it not just to Earth, but these really small locations. The biggest scene we get is with the train, which is cool, but for a movie about the Phoenix, I'm expecting, whole armadas to be blown up. Which, man, we were going to get, but I don't know. Jesus. So, a couple other points I need to touch on now. My God, the aliens in this they are like we are going to take over this planet. Ooh, our planet is gone, we'll take over this planet. Ooh. Jessica Chastain, I love Jessica Chastain. She is talented. She is funny. She is smart. She's intelligent. She's gorgeous. What the hell was... You could have done more. You could have done so much more with this character. And it really is just a generic villain. An emotionless plant person. Invasion of the Body Snatcher kind of... Literally is like Invasion of the Body Snatchers kind of person. Just a villain. It was so dumb. You know what the climax of this movie comes down to? Ha-ha! Ha-ha! I'm taking your power. No, you're not. I'm taking your power. Your emotions make you weak. And you want to talk about how lazy of writing this was in this movie? That's the villain's like, your emotions make you weak. And then she goes, no. Then lifts her up and discussing, okay. And in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, what would be a good counter line to that? And in my mind, I'm only going to one line. And sure enough, it's, no, my emotions make me strong. That's it. That's it. Everything. That's it. Oh, God. So, last thing I'm going to touch on, I could go off for maybe a half hour, 45 minutes on this damn thing. Is that they really give Charles the shaft in these X movies, don't they? Think about it. X1. Yeah, he's got the most powerful mind in the world. He searches for people with it and reads some minds. That's it. Okay, that's fine. They get him out of the equation pretty early on. Second one, we see a bit more of him. That's cool. He's freezing the world. He can actually kill people if he focuses so hard. That was, they upped the scale a bit. X3, he can sense the weather changing because Storm was upset. He talked about how he installed psychic shields in Jean. I'm trying to. Nope. He planted his mind in another person's body, which is kind of a douche thing to do, which kind of shows up. It does show, that was starting to show the arrogance of Charles a bit. First Class, we do see a lot with him in First Class, actually, but ultimately, he's got the shield, there's the helmet which blocks off mental abilities. Then they nerf him in Days of Future Past, which I had a realization about Days of Future Past I love Days of Future Past, but there was a realization about that movie I had yesterday after watching, like, yeah, that's a major freaking plot hole. Wow. You want to know what my realization is? So Charles takes a serum that Beast takes to regulate his powers to enable him to walk. It affects his DNA. Okay? Takes his powers away. That's fine. But here's the problem with this right now. He took a bullet to the back. Clearly his spine was either severed or it was so damaged that he was paralyzed. Maybe not severed, but pretty much no use. If something is allowing you to walk, if it is allowing you to walk, it should enable you to those things have to be repaired. I mean, I have to guess his spine was severed because it was a damn bullet. Granted, there was no blood on it after Magneto pulled it up, so it was a damn bullet. So if the serum's allowing you to walk, that means it healed a severed spine. That means after a little while, you don't need the medicine. You should be good to walk. This stuff makes no sense whatsoever. Anyway, comic logic, whatever. I can generally let it slide. But then we get but in that we get he's nerfed, but he's still functioning. And hell, in Logan, he's like actually capable of killing entire people. He killed most of the X-Men in Logan, as we find out. Apocalypse, he can't do anything to Apocalypse because Apocalypse is powerful enough to just keep him out of his head. And in this one, Jean becomes too powerful for him to read, so he becomes useless by the end of the movie. Like, literally, by the time we get to Jean on her own, I'm calling her Lilandra. I don't care if she's Bulk, I'm calling her Lilandra. At least it makes me more pissy. With Lilandra, I know it's not Lilandra, by the way, but still I'm calling her Lilandra. And by the time we get to that, it's... By the time we get to that, it's like he can't do a damn thing. At best, he's keeping another mutant with mind control abilities from killing him with Nightcrawler. Now, I will say, James McAvoy does the best he can, and there's a great scene in physical acting where Jean is physically making him walk up the stairs. Like, that was some damn good physical acting. That was kind of horrifying watching her do that to him. But, why... I get that they're showing off the arrogance of the character, but they kind of showed that off, honestly, in the First Class, Apocalypse, and Days of Future Past. They really made Xavier out to be a bit of a douche in this one. Which isn't bad. He is kind of a douche in the comics, to an extent. He is full of himself on a certain level. But, look, is this as bad as we were hearing? No. For all the ripping I just went into it, no. If Mark wanted to go see it, I could sit through it again, I think. There's some bad line delivery. I'll say this. I cared more about the Jean-Scott relationship in this movie than I ever did in the other movies. Just because we had 2 movies with them as kids to develop a relationship. And, that was another thing. That last thing I want to comment. They 86 Quicksilver pretty quick. Hey, he's in the space shuttle. He tries to stop Jean, but she's like, nope. Okay, because the Quicksilver scenes were usually some of the best scenes in the other 2 movies. So, is it the worst movie of the year? Probably not. I actually got a certain amount of enjoyment out of the stuff that was good in this movie. To me, right now, The Sun Is Also Start is still the worst movie of the year. But anyway, let me know what you thought of this movie if you've seen this movie. To me, this is close to the worst X-Men movie, but not quite there. I will say this, though. I own X-Men Origins Wolverine because it's not great, but it's fun. It's a fun bad for me. This is better, but I'll be honest, I can't see me picking this one up. I'm kind of a completionist. I just finally picked up Aquaman, so I have all the DCEU movies right now. But I'll be honest, I don't have any urge to pick this one up when it comes out on DVD, when it comes out on video. So, no. I know we got a couple trailers. We got It. Love seeing that. Off the top of my head, though, I can't think of all the trailers we got. We got Spider-Man Far From Home, but it was the original trailer. Anyway, I digress. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Ideas for who would win, Star Wars, Superior Magic, what if, anything I do on the channel. Put that in the comments below. Let me know. I'll get to that at some point as well. I'll be back with, actually, I'm going to, even though Mark's not here, I'm going to finish up the Q&A today. It's only going to take me about 5-10 minutes at most. And I got a who would win I'm going to do. So just keep your eyes up for those. Thanks for watching. I'll see you folks next time. Have a good